That is a beautiful sight. It's like a Christmas D4 scene. Good thing I got everything covered. Whoa, crispy. This is cool, huh? See what I did there? This stuff is incredibly super wet. It's heavy. Well, I guess I better plow a road in here. I'll start this backhoe up and move some snow. It's not really that cold here today. It's actually pretty warm. I actually told Dad, hey, let's put the backhoe inside. It's supposed to snow. And Dad's words were, ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, I've already checked all the fluids. Let's go in and have a cup of coffee. Let this thing warm up. That's the thing here. When we get snow, it always comes with wind. So it's hard to gauge exactly how much we got. I'm thinking about a foot on the level, but we usually get drifts. And the drifts can get very tall. I'll have to back drag this stuff away from the building. You can see how tall those chickens are, about 2 feet tall. And that stuff is just sliding off the roof. And hopefully we don't lose a gutter. It's been known to happen around here. I mean, the trucks have more than a foot of snow up on top of them on the cabs and the hood. Hard to say how much we got here. French roast, my favorite. I'm the only coffee drinker in the house, so I do the Keurig a lot. This was my son's favorite mug. We got this in Peoria when we visited the factory and the plant. Backhoe's running out there. I got the heater on. I can see it's starting to melt the windows off. As soon as I finish this cup, we'll go outside and get to work. Well, we've melted some snow. It's warmed up a little bit. The engine, transmission, and the hydraulic pump, they need to warm up a little bit too, but I'll work them real slow. I'm kind of excited for the holidays this year, which I haven't been since we lost Henry, but I like the snow. I like the feel of this time of year. It's tough because every time I start feeling happy about things, I start feeling guilty about things. Definitely nice and toasty in here. I'm liking that. Thawed out pretty good. This stuff is incredibly wet and heavy. Let's start up at the road and work our way in. you could get four-wheel drive on a backhoe, it was a huge game changer. Well, whoever had winter wheat planted on their crop rotation bingo card, they're gonna be a winner. There's a lot of moisture in this stuff. Well, whenever Dad says ain't gonna do nothing with weather, the family pretty much knows we're in for a heck of a storm. I actually thought it was letting up about an hour ago, but it's kind of soft back in and the visibility went back down. These flakes are getting a lot bigger and the windshield wiper decided to quit working today. What are you doing, windshield wiper? Huh? Turn signal works. That's necessary. I'm gonna park this thing. I might have to do this again. This was supposed to be done by now and moved out. Thought I'd share a little story that's kind of funny. I don't know, it's probably 15, 20 years ago when I did this, at least. More than that, maybe 25. We had a grease pit in our shop where we had the excavating business, and we'd run our heavy equipment over that grease pit to change oil, trucks, loaders, big stuff. And I had a 1977 Kenworth W900, just like the Smokey and the Bandit one. And I had come back from digging a basement, unloaded my 936 loader. I needed to change oil in that Kenworth, and we had swapped it to a big Cam 3 Cummins diesel. And we always had 55-gallon drums of 1540 fleet oil that met the Caterpillar and Cummins specifications. So I go and I dump the oil, and it's about 10 gallons of capacity. And this one was a tad more because it had a external extra lubrifiner filter, a big canister. So it took probably even a little more than 10 gallons. Well, I drained the oil. The second bucket, I switched it, and then I got a phone call from a customer, and I run into the office to grab the phone call. No worries. I take the phone call. I don't remember what it was or what I had to do, but I got distracted. I was probably listening to music because Dad wasn't there. And I thought, all right, well, I spun the filters off, put new filters on it, and we had a pneumatic pump for the oil. So I climb up on the top of the engine and I start the pump pumping, and then I got another phone call. So I go in, take that phone call. I set it for 10 gallons, the pump. I go and take the phone call, and the phone call's done, and I come out, and the pump had an automatic kickoff, which I should have never relied on, but it had kicked off. I'd been on the phone for quite some time, and I hear like water running under the truck, it sounded like. And I got to investigate, and I looked down underneath the truck, and I'd left the drain plug out. So 10 gallons of oil went into the old used oil bucket and overflowed it and went all over in that grease pit, 10 gallons of oil. And it was a oh no moment. I'm like, because Dad was coming home from whatever job he was working on, and Grandpa was coming home from whatever job he was working on. And I thought, I am going to get chewed out over this one, because that is a lot of oil to waste and a heck of a mess. So I kicked it into high gear, and I cleaned up all that spilled oil, and I basically ended up just scooping it up and putting it in buckets and dumping it in our clean burn oil burning stove, which burns oil or diesel or whatever. And I somehow miraculously cleaned up that mess, and it was, I mean, there must have been 50 square feet of oil like all over the floor. And I put kitty litter down and stomped it around and mushed it around. And I mean, I was working my tail. It was hot. And when you bring in a vehicle on a hot day, and that engine is hot and the truck is hot and it's inside that shop, it just heats everything up. So it can get downright miserable from all that hot iron inside the shop. But I managed to get it all cleaned up, and nobody ever knew.
Dad never knew. Nobody ever said a word. Grandpa never knew. Nobody ever said a word. But they did ask, I thought we had more oil than that. And I said, I thought we did too, but I'm really good about changing oil. I'm just not good about catching all the oil or putting the plug in.
These flakes are getting a lot bigger. These flakes are getting a lot bigger, and the windshield here. These flakes are getting a lot bigger, and the windshield wiper decided. These flakes are getting a lot bigger, and the windshield wiper. What are we on? Take 5, 6.